Hello substreamers and welcome back to Substream News. Now yes, I know exactly what you're thinking. Yes, I am on holiday once again in the beautiful country of Thailand. I'm by the beach. You might hear the crashing waves behind me. It's absolutely stunning where the jungle touches the ocean. But beyond that, I don't know what else you're thinking, and that's because I'm not a mind reader and I don't have extra brain capacity or powers, unlike the contents of my first story today, which is about the Neuralink. You may remember a few weeks ago we covered the story of Nolan Arbrough. Now, Nolan was the first recipient of controversial billionaire Elon Musk's Neuralink project. Unfortunately, things have taken a turn for the worst. Let me explain. Well, unfortunately, 85% of the threads, which are the connections between the Neuralink and Nolan's brain, stopped working. They retracted. And unfortunately, that means playing Civilization and the other things that Nolan reported he could do after receiving the Neuralink are no longer working, which must be absolute agony for the man. I have here a direct quote from Nolan. "I was on such a high, and then to be brought down that low, it was very, very hard. I cried." That's very sad. So we don't know yet whether Nolan's Neuralink will be replaced. But what we do know, because Neuralink has just confirmed it, is that they will be putting the Neuralink into a second patient. And of course, it's not exactly the same. They've made some improvements and some updates because they want the new patient to be more successful. So they have the green light from the FDA, and they have revealed, I'm getting attacked by bugs, they have revealed that in June the second patient will receive a Neuralink. This time they will implant the Neuralink 8mm rather than 3 to 5mm, as was the case in Nolan Arbrough's implantation. Okay, let's move on to the next story. I've got to fight some bugs. Okay guys, the next story is a bit of a wild ride, so strap in and I will do my best to explain. Back in 2017, in northeast of San Francisco, mysterious, secretive group started buying up vast amounts of land to the tune of 60,000 acres, and that's in Solano County. Now, conspiracy theorists thought that this was a Chinese-led initiative to basically buy up land near an airbase, right? Near an airbase around there. But actually, turns out that the new residents are much worse. They are kooky tech billionaires. The story was broken by Connor Doherty from the New York Times. He got tipped off that it was actually billionaires, tech billionaires, that were buying up this land. And he has a list, and there's Reid Hoffman, the founder of LinkedIn. You've got Lauren Powell Jobs. She is Steve Jobs' widow. Mark Andreessen of Andreessen Horowitz. And basically a who's who list of Silicon Valley billionaires. But who is actually behind the project? Because there has to be someone leading it, right? Well, you have Jan Sramek. He is 37-year-old, Czech-born, former Goldman Sachs trader turned city industrialist, city builder. Now, why is he doing this? Well, for good reason. He says that most of the US is not walkable and large parts are not very livable, and he wants to build a city similar to New York's West Village. Instead of taking all these well-paying jobs that are being created in Northern California and sending them to Texas or Florida, let's create a place where we can send them to Solano County. So that's from Sramek, and Sramek insists the idea it's basically to have a relatively affordable, walkable city within the nation's most affordable and car-centric state. And basically, he doesn't want it to be a secret oasis of billionaires. That is not the intention. Will this city actually happen? Well, right now, building a city is not that easy. You can't just buy up land and build a city. There are rules, permits, regulations, all sorts of hurdles and obstacles, and actually the law says they cannot do it. We're dealing with billionaires here. How many of you watching think that rules and regulations are going to stop America's richest people from building their own private city? Not a chicken's chance in Thailand are they going to be stopped. I suspect they will do very well and line some politicians' pockets. And obviously I'm not naming names because I don't know any. Okay, moving on. I have here an iPhone, and there is a glitch. So recently it was discovered that people who were deleting photos from their iPhones and iPads were seeing those photos come back for no good reason. It was a bug in iOS 17.5, and probably more annoying than weird, but the weird thing is, yeah, they can come back after being wiped and sold. And there is the big part of the story. You could have sensitive information. I don't want to speculate, but you could have some embarrassing photos, let's say, and sell your iPad. And then, what happens? Those photos reappear for no good reason. And put you in a bit of hot water. Well, one tech expert says this indicates Apple is lying even more about how they store encryption hash keys. Your local data is encrypted at a hardware level. It should not be possible in any way to restore data using a different account. Seems like Apple also stores a copy of your personal hash key in their closed firmware. Because the point here is that you wipe the iPad, completely wipe it, delete your account and sell it to somebody fresh. They start using it and your photos appear. That signifies that it's a hardware issue and your content should not be stored on that hardware. So what's my advice? Well, put quite simply, if you're going to sell your iPhone or iPad, wait at least 30 days, then it may well be deleted. If not, update your software, because this was just a bug with 17.5, so it should be resolved now. Hopefully it hasn't affected you, but if it has affected you or you know someone who experienced this bug, please let me know in the comments. I would like to know more. Okay, we've got another glitch story. Again, I want you to think, what's the most a tech glitch has ever cost you? Now, in the last story, it could be that a naughty photo reappeared on someone else's device. That's so bizarre, and I'm sure it affected so few people. But what about you personally? What has been a way in which technology has cost you? And I'll give you a personal example. I don't know why it does this, but when my phone hits full charge, 100% when it's on charge, it, for some reason, turns on the Wi-Fi and Bluetooth if they were off. I don't know why it does this. I don't know how to turn it off. I don't know if it happens to other people, but it turns on the Bluetooth, and if there is something to connect to, it will connect. So I was in the airport a couple of years ago, and I fell asleep, and my alarm didn't go off. Well, it did go off, but it was connected to Bluetooth headphones, so I didn't hear the alarm, and I missed my flight. Well, that happens. Maybe it's happened to others. And I'm sure others have had even more costlier glitches, because this news story sees a woman, Roni Beale, 72 years old, of New Jersey, USA. A glitch cost her $1.9 million. Wow. Okay, so Roni went to Atlantic City back in February, and she was playing a Wheel of Fortune slot machine. She won. She spun the slots, and she won. And there was big dollar signs, and it said you've won about 1.2 million. And then she said, well, I'm going to hit that multiplier. And she hit the multiplier, and she won again. It said, you're a winner. And gold coins started popping out. Then an assistant from the casino came over. And he said, oh, no, this is a technical glitch. You've been tilted. This isn't really your money. And he started opening the machine and tapping buttons inside it, and said to her, sorry, just a malfunction. Here's and then he offered her $450 in compensation. Rubbish. Well, that is not the last they've heard of Roni Beale, because obviously she went straight to an attorney, and he says this: they fooled with the machine before anybody else had the opportunity to take a look at it. Now they're claiming $3.56 million. Good luck, Roni. I love to see it. Are you a happy young person, or a miserable young person, or a miserable old person, or a miserable young person? Well, or a happy old person. I don't know. It doesn't matter, really. You could be a cheerful old soul or a miserable youngster. Now, the latest study here, I find this quite interesting, because we've covered happiness stories on this channel before, like global, national, international happiness, and this one is quite different, because it's about the discrepancy of happiness between young and old people. So generational happiness comparison survey, something like that. If that sounds confusing, let me give you an example. And I really, really like this study. Right, so you've got almost 200 countries in the world. Let's say young people are ranked 80th for happiness and old people are ranked 50th for happiness. The discrepancy there is 30, right? We're clear on that. So which countries have big ones? Well, I'm going to tell you, but that example is Libya, right? Libya has a discrepancy of 30, and that puts them 9th in the world, where their young people are 30 places more unhappy than, or less happy than, the old people. Tied 4th, we have China and Uzbekistan, discrepancy of 49, where the young people are really unhappy there. Canada is 3rd with a discrepancy of 50. USA is 2nd with a discrepancy of 52, and those countries actually. Canada is 10th happiest in the world for old people, and USA is 8th happiest in the world for old people. So their youth are really not happy. Number 1 surprised me. I wouldn't have guessed this. Mauritius. Now, why? I tried to do some research, and what I found was, since the pandemic, huge youth unemployment there, whereas the old people have done quite well over the last couple of generations, I guess through tourism and consistency. Yeah, that's interesting. What do you think? Do you think old people are happy in your country? Do you think young people are happy? The important thing that I took from this survey is there's basically no country out there where young people are happier than old people. And that's a strange thing, because I think we often consider that old people are quite moody and miserable and young people are happy-go-lucky. And it's not the case, at least when surveyed. And finishing on a lighter note, what could be lighter than literally getting blown away? Well, substreamers, if you're listening to me in another tab or not watching the screen and you might be chopping onions or whatever, come back now. Now's the time to pay attention, because the footage we're putting on screen is shocking. It looks like the end of the world. This is pretty dystopian. Well, what happened? What are you looking at? A wind turbine in Iowa was completely leveled by a recent tornado. So rather than producing extra energy, it was strong winds that completely knocked it over. If you're in that part of the world, Iowa and nearby, please take care. Just have a plan of action. I'm pretty sure everyone in that area knows when it's tornado season. You go to the basement, I believe, and you find a safe place. Well, that's everything for this week. Thank you, Substreamers, for tuning in. This was the Substream News. I am Joseph, your presenter, here from the beach. I hope that the crashing waves weren't too annoying, because they're very pleasant for me to listen to. And now, I'm going to go and swim in the pool and drink from a coconut. Thank you for watching. This was Substream News. It's been a pleasure. See you next time.